Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by the one, the only Oliver Aaron of Detroit Country Day Lacrosse. How are you?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself, Casey?
I'm doing well. So I know it has been you've had an interesting few days. Of course, winning the lacrosse state championship on Saturday, and then 2 days later, last night, walking at time of recording, walking across the stage, receiving your diploma. So, what has the past few days just been like for you?
It's kind of been a dream, to be honest. I think graduating was always part of the plan, but I wasn't sure about, winning that state championship. We had lost 2 prior years, and it was a great way to cap my high school career off, getting that ring and accomplishing our main goal.
To win a state title, I know it's been a few days, but have you had a chance to reflect on everything and all that?
I think I have. Like you said, it's only been a few days, but once it's over, at least for myself, it kind of like sinks in that you're not going to be suiting it up with the boys, your teammates anymore. Even my brother, who was a part of our state championship team. Um, yeah, it kind of hit me in that sense, whereas like we've celebrated, but now it's like it's kind of over in a way.
Yeah. So what was that feeling like to, you talked about, coming up short the last few years, and then this being the year you finally go and get it done. Um, to be a part of that team, and this is a program that won a title 10 years ago. Obviously, a new coach, obviously a new, group of guys. Talk about what Coach Garland has meant to this program, what he's kind of built, because lacrosse is one of the hardest sports to build a program in. What has it been like these last few years, just being a part of this team?
It's been great. I mean, I think like you said, we had a 10-year drought. And then Coach Garland came in here 6 years ago and honestly revived the program. He likes to bring up a few stories of when he first got here. Um, we barely had a bench. We barely had guys who were on the bench. And now to have a JV team and to have a great size roster with talent loaded all over, I think what I've seen in the news is just people praising our depth. And I've seen that firsthand for the past 4 years. We just have guys stacked all over the board who want to play and who are good players. So yeah, I think Coach Garland's really, like I said, revived the program.
Yeah. Um, so playing in the state championship game, I know you've had a lot of success, in the biggest moment. What was that day like, being out on that field, being out in the lacrosse stadium for the very first champion to be crowned there, from Division Two? What is that to do it at Michigan's lacrosse stadium?
Uh, the icing on the cake, I think to say it simply. As a Michigan fan, I've always rooted for the Wolverines. I've never actually been to that stadium, the lacrosse stadium, so that was my first time ever stepping foot on there
Yeah.
as a fan or a player. Um, and I think looking back on it, part of my performance, I think I could contribute to luck. I think I ended up just kind of the ball was near me, and I made a few plays that I think I can consider it to be lucky, but I think it's also part of the training, part of my development. Um, yeah, I think that's where it is.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Kevin Connery, the Michigan, of course, the Michigan men's lacrosse coach there, and just to see what that stadium was like, and of course the girls played there the previous day. It was, what a way to crown, you know two state champions there. So that's got to be. But I think the biggest thing is, like, you caught up in all the emotion, people wanting to talk to you, and what was like minutes after that, what was going through your head?
I think it was hard to process everything. People were coming up to me really just minutes after receiving my medal, and it's like I gotta put something together for them And then also just realizing that with the seniors that I've played 4 years with, like my time's over. Playing with my brother, my time's over. But then also feeling a sense of joy and pride, knowing that we accomplished our main goal. We accomplished something that we fell short the previous 2 years of completing.
Winning a championship with your brother, did you ever think you'd do that?
That was a big goal. That was something that really I think was always in the back of my head in the fall, in the winter, and certainly in the spring, and even on Saturday, when I woke up, was just realizing that our parents had driven us to practices when we were just, little kids picking up a stick, and then now to be here and to be sharing the field with him while our parents are on the sideline cheering us on. Like I wanted to do it for him and then also just my parents and my family.
Yeah. So, um, to really like, what was the rest of the day like? After that, what did you what was that like for you guys?
That's a good question. I think this is very unique. Uh, we grabbed some sandwiches after we got back to like the Bloomfield, Birmingham area, and then honestly, we turned the game on from the NFHS stream and kind of just watched it. It was still so surreal, and we just wanted to see it. And then even my dad was like, break down some plays, and I was like, sure. And then he had my brother break down some plays as well, but. I was exhausted. My brother was exhausted. So after that, we took a nap, and then one of our teammates, Keaton, actually had all the team over for a dinner, and it was really nice.
Absolutely. Um, I know that, coming up into how long have you been playing lacrosse?
Ooh, definitely more than a decade. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Definitely more than a decade.
Okay, what was the best moment this season, you think?
I think it's hard not to say Saturday. I
Yeah.
really do. And I think what added to that was falling short the previous 2 years,
Hmm.
knowing that we'd gotten so close to that, and we just couldn't come up in the last game to finally win it on that last game on Saturday. Yeah, like I said, the icing on the cake.
Yeah. I mean, tons of high school athletes will go their entire careers without even coming close at a state championship. And, obviously you guys have been there and does it feel good? Because you're not continuing your lacrosse career after high school. So to put this to put your to put this as like the last kind of moment for your athletic career as you move on to you know move on next year. We'll talk more about that later, but as you kind of make that next step, is it just because to kind of feel like vindication, just a sigh of relief that you've gotten what you've always wanted?
Yeah, I think if you were to write a book about you could say my high school or just my lacrosse journey, um, it's a great final chapter to write. It really is to kind of finish that way. And like you said, not many student athletes in our state, in the country, get to finish their high school career off by winning a state championship.
And you guys had to go through some pretty tough teams to get there because you obviously, you got EGR and then, Forest Hill Central won the championship last year. Actually the previous 2 years. And then of course you had to take down a really good Forest Hills Eastern team, in the championship game. But, what was that like to go through all these tough teams?
I think it really prepares you for stages like the state championship game. One thing that Coach Garland alluded to before leaving on Saturday was the fact that we had played in a college stadium earlier this year when we made a trip down to Notre Dame to play Byron Center. And the fact that we went down to Indianapolis to play, two good teams in Carmel and Cathedral. I just think our schedule, like I said, really prepares us for moments like the state championship.
Absolutely. So like, all right, what's on Oliver's playlist before game?
Oof. There isn't something that I always play. I think on Saturday, and this is probably bad to say, but on game days, I like to listen to like the same song as many times as I can before it gets old.
That's
Uh,
nothing wrong with that.
yeah. So I think Saturday I was really bumping with Hell and Back. So that's like the Tavon Austin highlight tape. Like that's the music that's in the background of that. So I think that really got me going.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Okay. So we talked about um to know that, everything's you're all done. What has the past few weeks been like? I know, if I'm not mistaken, seniors got out because you've been out of school for a few weeks.
Yes. Yes.
So what have these past few weeks been like? Not having to go to school and just worrying about, okay, I got lacrosse and I don't know what else I got going on.
I'd say good and bad. It's a great way to focus on one goal and not have any distractions. I'm not sure if you know this, but during the final week of the season, all students except seniors are taking finals.
Right.
So after Wednesday's game, guys like my brother and everyone else basically is going home and studying for a final that they have to take the next morning. But then it's also weird because it's just like you've been so regimented with school that
Yeah.
you kind of have to adapt to a different schedule.
Yeah. Did you like get up at the same time? Did you get up later? Like, did
I
you
think I was definitely taking advantage of sleeping in a little bit. Yeah.
like what are you sleeping until like 9 or 10 or something?
Something like that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, I just no, I don't know. Let's just don't sleep until noon. So
Exactly. I still got to make something out of the day.
yeah, absolutely. Um, so to know that everything's done now, and now you got the whole summer that you have to yourself um before you go on to what's next. What's this summer going to be like for you?
It's gonna be new. I think that's a great way to put it. I'd say every other summer I was playing in the summer lacrosse, going to tournaments, stuff like that. I still want to stay active. I still want to stay in shape. I think I put it one way when someone asked me this on Saturday. I think I'm suspending for a year. I want to take the year in London and just, enjoy that time. And then who knows, honestly, where I go from next.
Yeah. Um, I was gonna lead into that, but yeah, it was. So you mentioned it. You are going. So we talk about what's next. Northeastern is where you're heading, but you're going to be going literally. You just said it. You're going across the pond to London to do what?
To experience a new culture, to attend college, to study finance. I'd say to live out an experience that my parents weren't able to experience themselves. So I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful to be in this position. I understand not many, people in their lifetime can experience something like that. But like I said, it's going to be a new, unique experience to say the least.
So kind of talk about like how this kind of got put together and stuff.
So at first I was really interested in Northeastern because they have something called the co-op program.
Yeah.
So it's where while you're at school, you're also doing internships. So those are like paid internships. So you're getting like work experience. Now I wasn't really all that familiar with this London first year program. Um, so when I was actually admitted, I was admitted just to the London program. So I was like, okay, like let me learn more about this. Um, and it kind of fit me well because it's going to be over 1,000 other freshmen, so a great tight-knit group of kids that I'll be able to meet um there for the first year, and like I said, really experiencing a different culture, way of life, and learning style.
So is this just like something Northeastern's doing, or is it just like a bunch of different colleges are going out there?
Just something Northeastern's doing. So it's actually Northeastern has a campus in London. So they have, you'll be housed on Northeastern housing. They have buildings where you'll study, so stuff like that. So it's not like other schools. It's really just going to be Northeastern
Okay.
students.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure going into this, some pretty, you're gonna have a lot of things to get used to. Um, the way of life, just everything is so different. Um, when you go there. I mean, everything's literally on the other side. So that'll take some time to get used to.
Absolutely.
But what is it going to, what are some of the things that you're going to have to say, okay, I got to do this, besides obviously going to school and all that.
Um, I think I got to always keep in mind that college isn't the end goal, and
Right,
I'll do 4 years in college, and then I'll have to really be prepared for real world experience and
right.
getting a job. Um, and yeah, I think that I don't want to stereotype, but I do think that some students will kind of graduate high school and then just kind of breeze through college, and not take advantage of all the resources college has to offer. So I really want to, uh, take advantage of everything that Northeastern has to offer.
hmm So, do you have a list of things you're going to do? Are you going to try to go? Have you thought about maybe like, are you going to go to a Premier League game, or maybe different things that you could try to do, or what just outside of just the normal school life? Do you
Yeah.
have some things you want to do there?
I'm not a big soccer fan. I do want to experience a Premier League game. Obviously the NFL goes there every year. That'd
Yeah,
be honestly awesome if I could somehow get a ticket in. I understand that the NBA is also doing something either in London or Paris.
yeah.
So hopefully there's some festivities I can go to. Um, Baseball was just there. I don't think baseball will be there in
No,
November.
they were just there last
Yeah.
week with the Mets and Phillies.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think, the postseason will be happening in the fall, but
no,
I think there's a lot to do. I also understand that students like to try and travel to different countries on the weekend. I think it's
right,
easier in Europe. You can,
right,
get a cheap flight, or honestly there's trains and whatnot. Different modes of transportation, I guess, than they have
absolutely.
here.
Yeah. Are you gonna go try to check out Formula One while you're out there too?
Oh, I've been talked into trying to watch Formula One. I'm not a big car racing guy.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you, I don't think that's gonna be on the bucket
Okay.
list. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm just trying to think of all the things that are out. Food wise, or is that going to be an adjustment for you? Are you like,
I'm always into trying new foods. I've read up they have great Indian food, great Middle Eastern food, great Asian food. So I think there's a great food culture over there.
yeah,
One thing that my mom was saying though that will be just interesting, and adds to the uniqueness is the fact that when I go over there, I'll be of legal drinking age, but when I come back to the States, I won't. So it's just kind of
yeah.
like, you know,
That
different.
also applies in Canada as well, I believe. So,
Yeah, I think so too.
so, um, yeah, because I think a lot of the drinking ages in um everywhere else is, I believe, 18. So, and obviously in America it's 21. So that
Mhm.
it's always there. The other thing I'll ask about this is the terminology of everything. Like, obviously meeting different kinds of people. Is that going to take some time getting used to get everything down? Because they do a lot of things different than we do.
If it does, I'm okay with that. I'd like to consider myself a people's person.
Yeah,
I'm always open to meeting, learning, and just talking with different types of people. And that's kind of what also attracted me was just the fact that I wanted to get out and meet a different crowd of people, and certainly this is going to be a very different crowd of people in London.
yeah, it is. We might have to have you back on and to maybe talk about it and go through like some of your experience, because not a lot of people get to do this. So, yeah,
Yeah. And I don't know, just to reiterate again, like I very much understand that not many people can do this, and I think it's just a plug to my parents really, and a big thank you to them for allowing me to do this.
yeah, for sure. I know we've gotten to know you a lot, but I feel like we need to get to know you some more. So here we go. Who is your favorite athlete in any sport currently right now?
Ooh, that is a tough question. That is a very tough question. I probably would have said Tom Brady. I understand he's retired now. Um, I just think that his story is so fascinating, really coming from sixth round pick to where he finished.
And who knows, he might come back.
Who knows? That'd actually be awesome if he could come back.
It's like he won. It's like you never know. There's a teammate call. It's like, okay, he's gonna, it's like, I don't know if he can come back again, but he might, he'll try.
Who knows?
Um, okay. Favorite food.
Ooh, favorite food. Hard not to go with like pizza. Hard not to go with pizza.
Okay. Um, okay. You'll probably have to go to Italy to try some then. So,
Yes.
um, any type, like, is it Detroit style, hand tossed, thin crust?
Thin crust, however, I think I was just put on to Buddy's Pizza. I was not growing up, I was not a big Buddy's Pizza fan, but that is the real Detroit pizza. And
It's the real deal.
it is the real deal. And then as I've gotten older, I've really kind of my preferences have really been like barbecue chicken now has kind of taken over like the cheese pepperoni crowd. So I'm a big barbecue chicken guy.
Yeah. I'm kind of the more basic kind of thing because it's just like not like you don't want all this like crunchiness on
Yeah,
like the other stuff, but hey, whatever floats your boat. Um,
exactly.
um, okay. What's the biggest thing on your bucket list right now?
Oh, biggest thing on my bucket list. I don't know. I really don't know. I think that up until Saturday, the biggest thing would have been to win the state championship, and since then, it's hard to get that out of my mind and think of something new. I think you'd have to come back and ask me that again in a few months.
Okay. Um, I know we talk about state championships. I just remembered this question. Have the rings been talked about yet?
I think by the parents more, um, but I want to continue to remind my brother next year that that rings are probably a good idea and that they should continue to talk about that and hopefully uh make that a priority.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, let's see. I'll end it on this. Favorite movie.
Oof, 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 oof. Favorite movie. Um, it's hard. I think it changes really every time I watch like a couple new movies. I'll give you a story though about a favorite movie. I think it was
Okay.
in second or third grade. You know that you go into school in September, they have you write down just some things about you that
Yeah,
they'll post up. And
yeah.
I think I wrote my favorite movie was like Animal House or something like that. Something that my parents were definitely not happy to see me writing down in front of the whole school.
And of course, you've watched it so many. I've watched it. It's pretty good, but that's funny. That's a good way to end.
Yeah,
Oliver, thank you so much. Congrats on Saturday. Congrats on graduating, and best of luck in London. We'll have you on again, maybe during your time in London. So
perfect. Casey, it's been a great way to meet you 2 or 3 days ago and then to get this going. That was great. So thank you. Thank you for having me.